Wait, you gotta be kidding me. It actually happened? Ooh, let's talk about the 2020 Draft Lottery here in the NHL here. It's fitting how it played out here. I would say if you're a fan of the, let's say the Ottawa Senators or the Detroit Red Wings, I think I got a feel for you a little. As, the draft lotteries have been put in to discourage tanking here, but, yeah, a placeholder team, that is still yet to be determined of the 8 teams that are in the play-in round or that won't make it out of the play-in round. Will be ultimately picking first overall in the 2020 NHL Draft here, and who knows? Could be the Flames. Or worst case scenario, we can hear hockey fans moaning if it's the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Edmonton Oilers. Am I going to have to cheer for the Penguins and Oilers to get out of their respective series so they don't get upset and potentially get the first overall pick? Oh, jeez. This is a very NHL thing to do here, but I think the system is a little broken here, and I'm going to say in retrospect here, I know this is very unique circumstances here, and we still can't decide the order yet, other than the teams that weren't going into the 2014 playoffs. They probably should have had it where the bottom 5 would have a shot at getting the first overall pick, and not potentially a placeholder team where, maybe could get upset in the first round. An upset happens in the first round. Let's say lose a tough series in 5 in triple overtime, and eventually get Alexis Lafreniere here. That's why I'm going to be cheering for the Penguins and Oilers to win their series here. The Penguins and Oilers don't need Alexis Lafreniere here. It just makes their team more stacked here. And hockey fans will definitely be outraged here. But I definitely have to say, Detroit Red Wing fans and the Ottawa Senators, considering they had 2 picks, they had their own and a pick that they acquired from the San Jose Sharks in the Erik Karlsson trade. Actually, collectively, the Ottawa Senators had a better shot at getting into the top 3 or get the first overall pick than the Detroit Red Wings from those 2 picks here. Apparently, it was only a 2.5% chance that a placeholder team was going to get the first overall pick, and it happened here. And now because of that, a placeholder team was in the top 3 here, and we knew that coming in when Bill Daly was presented with the cards that it reveals to say who the order is, and said, "Oh, I got 8 cards here, which means a placeholder team is in the top 3, which means we'll need a phase 2 of the draft lottery here," which I don't have enough scotch or any scotch at all around here, and I don't have a PhD to figure out how they figure out the placeholder teams. I know it's not necessarily based on reverse order of the teams that are in the play-in series and whoever gets knocked out here. I think there's some signed letter, but we won't know until October where Alexis Lafreniere is going to be going to, because he doesn't even know yet, because he's going to be going to this placeholder team. But let's just look at the draft lottery here, as I would say the biggest losers is the Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators here. The biggest winner is obviously going to be whoever ultimately gets the placeholder team and the Los Angeles Kings here. So how it played out here is that the Buffalo Sabres did not move, or I guess you could say moved down because of a placeholder team, as the Buffalo Sabres were just behind the Montreal Canadiens from that cutoff line. So Buffalo stays where they are. New Jersey Devils stay where they are, so they get the 7th overall pick. And then the Anaheim Ducks stay where they are with the 6th overall pick. So those were the bottom, let's say had the best of the teams that weren't, best winning percentage of the teams that aren't going into the 2014 tournament. They did not move, and then this is where movement happened here, as the Los Angeles Kings moved up in the top 3, because the Ottawa Senators moved down to 5 here, and this is their own pick, the Ottawa Senators here, and then the Detroit Red Wings, who was had the worst record in the NHL here, and actually both Detroit and Ottawa, as of the pause there, they were both mathematically officially eliminated from playoff contention. when the pause button pressed here. So Ottawa is 5th, and the Detroit Red Wings are 4th here. And then the San Jose Sharks also get the 3rd overall pick, which goes to the Ottawa Senators in the Erik Karlsson trade. So that's where Ottawa gets the 3rd and 5th overall pick here. And they say this draft is stacked still, where I don't think any of these teams are going to be trading away their picks here. So the Los Angeles Kings moved up to number 2. And then this placeholder team, it's the 1st overall pick here. And as I said in the article here, picks 4 through 8 were determined based on inverse order of regular season points percentage. And then 9 through 15, which is still yet to be determined, will be assigned to other teams that lose in their 8th qualifier series in inverse order of picks percentage, points percentage. And then 16-31 will be decided in the playoffs here. So definitely there's a very strange draft lottery here, and definitely raised a lot of controversy, and there was definitely a lot of reactions on the line here that a lot of teams were definitely not happy with it. And I think the system shouldn't have been in place where at the bottom 5, they should almost go back to that, one team moves up potentially 5 spots in the draft lottery, where if you're in the bottom 5, you have kind of the same shot of winning the 1st overall pick, to discourage tanking here. And once again, I'm not too sure if Alexis Lafreniere is considered to be a generational talent here. I know he played with the same team that Sidney Crosby played on, the Rimouski Oceanic of the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, and won the league MVP there, and that's the consensus pick that it's going to be the number 1 pick overall here. But it definitely does seem unfair. Even let's say, for example, let's say we lost a tough series to the Winnipeg Jets, assuming it happens, and that's the one thing that still hasn't been determined is, let's say hockey cannot get played or concluded due to this global pandemic here, that how are they going to decide, draft lottery now? There's going to be another, lottery to decide the placeholder teams now that the placeholder team won the draft lottery, yet to be determined. And I just worry that if the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Edmonton Oilers get upset and they're playing around it, it's going to be one of them. Or, imagine, let's say, if the Toronto Maple Leafs was that placeholder team and get Alexis Lafreniere there. While the Ottawa Senators and the Detroit Red Wings, I think, definitely got screwed out on here, considering they had a rough season here. But, I know this is unusual circumstances, but, yeah, of course it has to work out this way, that placeholder team wins the draft lottery. But, it definitely would take some heat and backlash. Let's say, for example, if the Calgary Flames get Alexis Lafreniere, it would definitely be a nice, competition, heat up the Battle of Alberta even more here, to be hypothetical here. But I know the Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators could have used him a lot more here. But, that's just my take on it. Of course, it had played out this way, but who knows? Well, I'll follow up with the draft lottery once we know if playoffs go on and get decided, and who the heck knows will get that 1st overall pick here. It's going to definitely be a controversial pick for sure, even more now, given what has happened here. And, I'm just worried that Edmonton or Pittsburgh will get knocked out and they're that placeholder team. But just imagine, having Crosby, Malkin, Lafreniere, or Draisaitl, McDavid, and Lafreniere there. Hockey fans will moan and shake their heads, or would it be funny if the Arizona Coyotes want to get that pick with the Taylor Hall? Because Taylor Hall seems to like to give teams the draft pick, lottery pick, from his time in the Edmonton Oilers and the New Jersey Devils. So that's another storyline there too. And let's say if it was the Arizona Coyotes, fans will say, well, of course you're going to give that to Arizona or Florida, a Sunbelt team. It's a controversial pick, by the way. So what do you think of the draft lottery? Of course, I had to play out this way. But as you say here, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, on the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly talk Calgary sports here, and I also do personal blogs, attempt to comedy. I also do share my experiences. Let's say I'm on the road at a sport event, so that's mostly what I do on my YouTube channel. If that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, do follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey. You know what you do here, and I also have my other social media links down in the description below there, and definitely gave my quick takes on how the NHL Draft Lottery played out, and of course the placeholder team had to win it, right? I mean, as if this year can't get even stranger enough here. It would just be hilarious if, let's say, we get Alexis Lafreniere. I'm not dreaming. I'd rather Calgary go on a nice long run to maybe win the Stanley Cup. NHL 20 says we have what it takes to win the Stanley Cup, if you see that video. But I'd rather we go far in the playoffs than lose a tough one to the Winnipeg Jets. It would take the sting out just a little, but there'll be a lot of heat and backlash thinking it's almost unfair that we would have gotten Lafreniere, while Ottawa and Detroit, they're definitely starting their rebuilds, or Ottawa definitely needs to get going with their rebuild. And Detroit, has a future as well here, but they could have boosted those teams a lot more if they got him. But, it is what it is, and it's going to be crazy that I'll be cheering for the Penguins and Oilers at least to get into the playoffs, so that the worst case scenario does not happen. But as I say, I'll see you in the next video. Go Flames, go. I mean, Alexis Lafreniere would look good in Flames uniform if it came that way, but I am not banking on it, and but who knows? It's been a strange year, and of course it just had to play out this way. So I'll see you in the next video.